What's up, TBS crew? It's your boy Steph back with another reaction. This time we have Unit 522, 4 creepy stories submitted by subscribers based on true events, uploaded April 24th, 2019. Now, down in the description will be a link to Unit 522's channel, a link to this original video so y'all can see it for yourselves without my commentary. Also will be links to all of my social medias. Get at your boy and see the personal life that I don't upload to YouTube. Without further ado, let's get into it. I still ain't got my damn water. Shit. I just reacted to Eminem 3 a.m. I forgot to go get it. Now I forgot again. I'll go after this video. I need my water.
I'm a 15-year-old male. I have to walk to school every morning, which is very far away from me.
It be like
So
that.
I usually wake up around 5 a.m. and start getting ready. When I go outside and start my walk, it's usually pretty dark for the first 30 minutes. And then the sun starts to rise. I should also mention that I kind of live in a bad neighborhood.
Of course.
Usually I'm pretty cautious when walking in the dark.
You better
There was
be.
this one time where I was walking by an office building that was still under construction, and I saw a man staring at me through the glass door.
Keep going.
It was kind of dark when this happened, so I really couldn't see the guy's face.
Good.
But I could make out that he was bald. I figured that he was a construction worker or something and kept moving.
Nah.
About 10 more steps, I hear the glass door open. I immediately look back and see him outside the door, staring at me.
See?
This was starting to creep me out, and I knew that I had to get going.
It should
I turn
creep you
around
out.
and continue walking down the street. About 3 minutes later, I look back and see that he's power walking right for me. I cross the other side of the street, and he does the same. And then I cross back again to make sure that he's following me. And again, he does the same. He copied my every movement. At this point, I'm wondering if he might have a weapon on him, and what he would do if he caught up with me. I took off down a nearby alleyway.
You don't want
and
to
came
know.
out on the adjacent street. When I turned the corner, I decided to make a run for it.
Hell
And
yeah.
I could hear him taking off after me.
You should have been did that.
I knew that he would catch me eventually with my heavy backpack slowing me down. So I turned into another alleyway and quickly began looking for a place to hide. And my eyes fell upon a dumpster. I made a dash for it and jumped in, gently closing the lid before the man rounded the corner. There was a dim light above a nearby fire escape, so I was able to peer through a rusted hole in the side of the dumpster and see what was going on. I now had a better view of the man. He was your stereotypical overweight creeper, the kind of guy that you would see behind the wheel of a white van. I noticed that in his right hand was a hammer.
To catch a
I
predator.
could hear his heavy breathing as he scanned the alleyway. After a minute of him just standing there, he said aloud,
Fucking little shit.
and then I watched him turn down the way he came and disappeared. I waited for about 5 minutes, afraid that if I came out of hiding, it would be just around the corner waiting for me. But then I saw there was some kind of jog team making their way past the alley, and then a couple of suits on their phones walking in the opposite direction. There was now other people on the street. I lifted the dumpster lid and made my way out to the now occupied sidewalk, and the fat bald guy was nowhere in sight. I made it to my school, told them why I smelled like a pile of roadkill, and the police and my parents were notified. Of course, they weren't able to find the guy, but I did get to take an early shower in the locker room that day.
Had he caught you, you would have got your cheeks clapped.
Back in my university days, I had an experience that definitely had an impact on how careful I am these days about my own personal safety.
You should always
but
be careful.
especially the safety of my home. For the first 3 years I studied there, my friends and I were pretty fearless, walking around the city streets completely wasted at night, leaving house parties to take long walks home at 4 a.m. We knew that there were people with bad intentions around, but we kind of just felt safe in the knowledge that these things rarely happened, and that it was pretty unlikely that anyone would attempt to do us any harm.
But they still happen.
Little did I know that the time I potentially came close to a very unpleasant encounter with a stranger would be the one time I actually stayed home.
Good.
My then boyfriend and I shared a basement apartment in the city during the last year of university. It was on a quiet road in a relatively decent area, though there was something about the place that bothered me. The apartment wasn't incorporated into the main house it was under. No access to the upstairs or the main road. The only way in or out was a small door in the back, which you had to go behind the street to get to. And there was no streetlights back there. I ended up getting a small keychain torch to help me actually navigate. It struck me that if a fire happened, We only had one shot at getting out. The place had no windows either. My boyfriend figured that with the door being so hidden, it actually made the place safer, because no one would really think to look for it there. That never really gave me much comfort, though.
I bet.
One night, my boyfriend and I had decided to stay home for the night. It was cold out, so we decided just to stay in and watch TV. During the day, we sometimes had separate classes and would get home at different times, so our rule was that whoever came home last would have to lock the door behind them. Once we were inside, it was really secluded and felt quite detached from the outside world.
The door should be locked anyway.
Especially in the bedroom where there were no windows. No indication of anything from outside. All the doors were really thick, so we really couldn't hear anything either. We sat there watching TV. It was around 1 a.m. My boyfriend got up to use the bathroom, pausing the show so he didn't miss anything. I just kind of zoned out as he walked across the room and opened the door. I didn't really expect anything to happen. The apartment was so quiet that you could hear almost every tiny noise. So what happened next really startled me. As the bedroom door swung open, my boyfriend suddenly yelped. It made me jump. I was confused as to what he was reacting to. I couldn't see anything because he was standing in the doorway, blocking the rest of the apartment from view.
Reacting.
As I watched him, he began to walk backwards, slowly closing the door with him, as if shielding himself from something. I started to panic, having no idea what he was seeing, and yet I found myself too scared to move or say anything. I just held my breath as I waited for something to happen. This went on for a few more seconds, with both my boyfriend and I frozen in place, and just as I started regaining my senses and went to grab my phone to call the police, I heard a slamming noise coming from the other room. My boyfriend pressed his weight against the door. I don't remember which of us had come home last that day, but whoever it was must have forgotten to lock the door behind them. When my boyfriend opened the bedroom door, there had been an intruder standing in the lounge. The main door that led to the back street was opened behind him. He said it had been like a jump scare from a horror film. The man had been about 10 feet away from the bedroom, dressed in all black, with his hood up and face obscured from view.
Of course.
What unnerved my boyfriend the most was that he was just standing there when he opened the door. However, after he noticed him, the man dropped down on all fours, landing on his hands and feet, and quickly began to crawl towards the bedroom door like some kind of spider. My boyfriend told me that right as he closed the door, the man had knocked into it, but not nearly hard enough to force it open.
Hell no, bro.
He then felt something pressing against the other side.
He on something else.
Seemed to move upward. After maybe 5 minutes of complete silence, my boyfriend finally opened up the door. The strange man was gone. It was a truly terrifying experience.
I bet.
Because if the intruder had decided to do anything, we would have been trapped in the bedroom with no way out, with not even a window to climb through. He could have been there for almost any reason, and the way he freakishly crawled towards the bedroom door made the situation all the more disturbing. Many questions were racing through my mind. Had he been watching us, trying to determine when it was best to enter the apartment?
Yeah.
And tried to come in before on the nights that we locked the door? Who was this guy? And why does he crawl on all fours like some kind of human spider? I didn't actually see that, but I imagine it was pretty horrific for my boyfriend.
I wouldn't want to see it.
Looking back on it, he might have just been trying to scope out for things to steal. But if so, why didn't he? There wasn't anything missing, and he could have easily pocketed something if he wanted to. This was all just plain creepy, and didn't make any sense. We struggled to sleep for many nights afterwards, wondering about the whole thing, and also scolding ourselves for leaving the door unlocked.
Sleep with a strap.
Thankfully, we never had another late-night visit again. Ever since then, I've become overly meticulous about closing and locking all the doors and windows wherever I am, and I often walk around the house checking everything before going to sleep. If you're the kind of person that often leaves their doors unlocked,
hell no.
Whether it's because a friend might come and visit you,
Fuck that.
or just have a habit of forgetting, maybe take better care in the future and avoid something like this happening to you. We got lucky that night, as our intruder left us alone, but you never know what someone might have planned for you.
For now. Fuck him being in an apartment. Why did he get on all fours? That's what freaked me the fuck out.
There's a park by my house that has a basketball court.
That's what got me.
Usually, I like to take a few of my friends and play some ball. So the other night, I got together with a few of my buddies. It was about midnight when we started playing. We were having tons of fun at first, but it got boring after a while. So we decided that it would be fun to play a game of manhunt. I was designated as the hunter. So I waited for about 3 minutes, and when time was up, the first place I looked was this house across the street that was abandoned. Keep in mind, it was one of those dark nights. I'm talking pitch black.
Of course.
The only lights were coming from a nearby lamppost and the overhead lights on the basketball court. So I make my way into the house, searching for my friends. I went upstairs into one of the rooms and peered out a large hole in the wall. I thought it would be smart to use this hole as a vantage point to look out for my friends. I slowly walked up to avoid making noise and peered out to look. I could barely see anything. I soon heard a noise coming from one of the back rooms, and I quickly went to investigate. I saw my friend Eric, who immediately started laughing as I walked into the room. We then heard a noise coming from the bathroom. I asked him who else was in the house with him, and he said that he didn't know. The rules of our game is if you're found, you also become a hunter, so he volunteered to go check it out. I was expecting Eric to find another one of our friends, but then I heard him yell, and he flew out of the bathroom and ran downstairs. I immediately took off after him, but instead of following him into the front yard, I dove into the bushes by the front porch. I saw Eric running from the house, and I shit you not, a dark figure dropped down into the front yard and took off after him. To be clear, this person must have leapt off the roof and landed in the front yard, and without hesitating, ran after Eric. Now Eric is a pretty fat kid, so this person was able to catch up with him and shove him to the ground. By this time, I had already gotten out from behind the bushes and was running full speed at the two of them. I heard Eric scream, and I saw the figure raise something above its head. But before it could hurt Eric, I lowered my shoulder and rammed into the guy's back, sending him flying. I quickly helped Eric to his feet, and we both raced back to the court. My other two friends were there waiting for us, and asked us why we were screaming. I told them that there was no time to explain, and they should start running. I looked over my shoulder and saw the figure making its way back inside the abandoned house. It was holding what looked like a knife in its hand. We eventually made it back to my place safe and sound. I don't think I'm some kind of hero or anything, but my friend was in danger, and I had to help him. I've decided to share my story as a warning to always be careful wherever you go. You never know who you might run into.
That's why you shouldn't be playing games at night. Oh, white van.
My name is Maya, and I'm only 12. Something happened to me very recently that I would like to share. I was making my way home from school when a white van pulled up beside me. The driver rolled down his window and asked me if I wanted to buy a shirt.
Nah.
I may be only 12, but I know never to talk to strangers, especially ones who drive white vans. I shook my head no and continued to walk on. The man was your average creepy neighborhood neckbeard.
Game.
The type of guy you see outside gas stations asking for money. The man nodded his head, rolled his window back up, and drove off down the street, turning down an alleyway. I have to admit that I was a little unnerved, but I just shrugged it off and kept walking towards my house, looking forward to getting home. When I was approaching the alleyway where the van had turned into, someone came up behind me and covered my mouth with their hand as they lifted me off my feet. I was thrown into the back of the parked van. I realized that it was the man from earlier. I tried screaming, biting, and kicking, but he was strong. He tied me up and left me among the loads of cardboard boxes, and got into the driver's seat and drove off. Luckily for me, he couldn't see me with all the boxes in the way. I still had my cell phone on me, and was able to pull it out of my back pocket even though I was tied up. I then set the phone on the floor, made an emergency phone call, and laid my head on it so I would be able to whisper into the phone. I told the operator the situation, and looked up and saw that we were approaching West Avenue. I gave her the name of the street, and soon after, I heard multiple sirens from outside. The police had boxed in the van at an intersection, and instructed the driver at gunpoint to get out of the van with his hands up. I stayed put until an officer opened the back door and carried me out. That was the scariest day of my life, but I'm glad I was able to think on my feet. Thank God this man didn't think to take away my cell phone when he grabbed me. I no longer walk anywhere alone.
I bet. better he have his hand over your mouth than a towel with
There's
chloroform on
always
it.
a reason to be afraid.
Kind of got me. But yeah, rather him, put his hand over your mouth other than a towel or a piece of cloth with chloroform on it. Because you probably wouldn't have survived that one. See, this is what I be telling y'all, man. I be telling my TBS crew and people in general, man, if y'all see an all-white van with no work logo on it, be wary. I don't fucking know why. White vans are like pedomobiles. Like rapist wagons. I mean, that's not even funny. I mean, the names I'm coming up with are kind of comical, but it's like, I don't know what it is about white vans. Like, if it doesn't have a work logo on it, there's no company that it belongs to, I'm automatically suspect about it. But, I mean, pedophiles are getting smarter in this day and age. They know that white vans are very stereotypical and pretty, conspicuous. So, they've gone to other shit. I don't know. Probably station wagons. but nah, man. That second story, nah. It wasn't even the fact that the guy was in the house or the apartment. I think it was an apartment. That was bad. That was bad, yes. What got me is when he saw your boyfriend, why did he take it upon himself to get down on his hands and feet and, crawl towards him like a human spider, like he said? Like, see, that's what had me. That's what made me turn away for a second. Because that, oh, God. I mean, I can't imagine that. Like, you're in your house or apartment or whatever, and it's dark. There's a little bit of light coming from, the street lights outside or, whatever. And you see someone at the end of the hallway, right? And you see them, they see you, and then they just drop down on their hands and on their feet, and they're like crawling towards. Oh, no, bro. Fuck no. Bro, man, I don't know what I would do. If I had my strap, I'll have to pull it. Bah! If I didn't, I'm coming in my room. I'm locking the door. I'm grabbing the crowbar that I keep in the corner. And I'm going to wait this shit out and wait for you to break into the door. If you can. And as soon as you break it, as soon as you break into the door, bam! As hard as I can. Knock you the fuck out and call the police to come pick your unconscious ass up. And that's it. He got on his hands and feet and start, oh, hell no. That's something straight out of a horror movie, bro. But nah, that second story, that was the scariest one to me. What did you guys think of the video? What did you think of my reaction? Leave all your feedback down in the comment section below. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. If you like my reaction, leave a like, a comment, and share the video. And if you really liked it, subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon so you will get notified every time your boy Steph drop new content, which I do 7 times a week. That is all I got for y'all this time around. Your boy Steph is out.